Ghost Facers!
Ghost Facers! We face a ghost where the others will not. We're Ghost Facers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot. Ghost Facers! We face a nightmare! We face a dread! Ghost Facers! We face the faceless! We face the dead!
Trip and fall into the supernatural. Where who you're gonna call? We face them all.
Ghost Facers! We face the faceless! We face the dead! Ghost Facers!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, a podcast that typically talks about comic books, movies, TV shows, and a beer of the week. However, as you know, this is going to be a bonus episode covering pretty much season 3 of Supernatural. I have finished 6 through 16 and blew through season 3 like it was a blur because of the writer strike, shorter season. So we're gonna talk about season 3. As always, Hops Geek News on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, on your social media platforms as well. And then patreon.com/Hops Geek News is where you can support the show if you want to. My beer for this episode is from a brewery called Lead Dog Brewing, brewed and canned out of Sparks, Nevada. It is called Beyond the Wall. It is a cold IPA. If you're on YouTube,
oh, that's fun.
It's got like a demon dog. You know, I thought hellhounds. It's got dead, kind of Army of the Dead looking vibes on it with the bad guys. My camera.
That's so cute. Right. So it's a cold. What is it? A cold IPA?
It's a cold IPA. It's got like
and Beyond the Wall
and things like that. I was thinking of it because, you know, we're going to hell essentially in this episode. That's the whole theme of season 3 is we're going to hell, man.
Well, and here's a spoiler. Dean does watch Game of Thrones.
He does. Well, this also is a Game of Thrones type beer. So this keenly hopped yet easy to drink cold IPA marks summer's waning hours in winter's forthcoming rain. The artist is Jake Gills, and it's a 6.3 alcohol by volume. Yeah, no, I just really like the art. It's fun. So
oh my God. That's amazing.
Thought it played in.
You're like 2 for 2 with the amazing can art tonight.
Yeah. Thought it played in. So Lauren, what do you have for this episode?
So one of the episodes we're talking about tonight is, you know, infamous Mystery Spot. And Mystery Spot, it actually takes place in Broward County, which is my Massachusetts, because I grew up in Broward County. That's where I went to high school. It's Fort Lauderdale is what it is, which is weird because they never say Fort Lauderdale. Last week, I actually drank a beer from Broward County. So today I was looking at my fridge and the only beers I have from Broward County are like high ABV bombers. And this is my third beer tonight. So I was like, oh, I'm going to take it a little easy. So I am drinking a Calusa Brewing beer at 10.5 or 10% to take it easy, called Cry, Cry, Cry. It's a triple New England because all Sam does in the mystery.
Easy.
Well, it's smaller. It's only 16 ounces. But all Sam does during that episode of Mystery Spot is cry, cry, cry.
Yeah, he does. There's a big, heavy overtone. So if you remember, Dean gave his life essentially for Sam, right? And so the whole theme is Sam's going to hell at some point. We don't know when. Well, we do know when, but they're trying to figure out ways. Dean's very no, because you'll die, and Sam's like, but I want to save you, bro. And so we actually kick off.
Round and round we go.
Yeah, we kick off this episode on episode 6, which is Red Sky at Morning, which means bad weather's coming. So Bella gets in the way yet again. God, she is the worst. And Sam and Dean are
definitely not the best.
Multiple victims who drowned, even though they are nowhere near water. They considered, fun facts of this episode, they considered using Yo-Ho and even played with the sound, but took it out. It would have cost them too much and wasn't really what they were going for. And the Latin prayer, Sam says, has Castile in it.
Castiel.
Castiel. Sorry. But yeah.
It's okay. So you won't make that mistake again soon.
You're right. Yeah. So Bella is back, and this episode was fine. She's so annoying. Gosh, she's so annoying.
Yeah. I love though when she's like, we're gonna hate fuck after this, basically. Yeah. And he's like, don't mean me.
And it was funny though, because you had that, and then you had the old lady just hitting on Sam, and that was funny. They go to
Yeah,
that
it didn't age the
gala.
best, but it was
No,
funny.
God, there's a lot of lines in these early seasons that you're just like, bro, you can't say that. Like,
I feel like honestly, I feel like all the lines that didn't age well kind of end right around here.
okay, that makes sense. I mean, because at this point you're what 2009 ish,
Probably, yeah, I guess so. If it was, yeah, 2009. But I think it's also how the story kind of went that they didn't need
yeah.
those silly jokes as much.
They do
too.
love busty Asians though. Dean loves busty Asian beauty.
That runs through all 15 seasons. I'm not gonna stop there.
It is hilarious. It is funny, but
yeah, that doesn't go away. So what did you think of this episode in general and like the spectrum of the episodes?
it was okay, but this wasn't the one where she stole the Colt, was it?
No, that's a different one.
Okay,
With
I didn't think so. It was okay.
I think so.
If we would just let Bella die or kill Bella like we've been talking about, Dean, all your problems would have been solved. God dang it.
Well, and vice versa, because you find out later she should have asked them for help.
We'll get there.
But this is one of the episodes that I didn't dislike this episode by any means. I thought it was kind of fun, and I like the whole ghost ship thing. It gave me Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, which obviously it gave the people who made the show that too, because they considered using Yoho.
That the whole time was his brother.
Right. I mean, yeah, families can be rough. But it is rated one of the not necessarily lower ones, but later in the show they apologize for this one like they do Bugs.
Why?
So it's not one of Eric Kripke's favorites.
Oh, really?
So Kripke in an episode, I believe it's in season 4. Yeah, it's in season 4. There's an episode where Kripke uses a certain storyline to apologize for Bugs and Ghost Ship.
Interesting. I'll be on the lookout for that. That isn't. I mean, it was not a bad episode. I don't think it was.
No, I didn't think it was either.
It was just kind of there. I thought.
I think everyone's just their own worst critic.
That's fine. I mean, absolutely fair.
But yeah, the older lady was attractive for an older lady, but she was also
a sugar mama.
Like Sam got me too'd, but Sam also was acting like she was like covered in boils, which was unnecessary.
Look, Sam, you could have been living it nice. Your brother's going to die soon. You could have been crying into money. All right.
You could have your sugar
hunter
mama.
life. You could have quit the hunter life, hands down.
That was his only way out.
It's not for everybody. So let's go into episode 7, Fresh Blood. This is where the brothers actually capture a female vampire named Lucy, but she has no idea how she became one, which leads them to Dixon, a male vampire who's a little too giving. And surprise, Gordon returns with a vengeance. Yeah, old Gordo. How you doing, Gordon? So, quick fun fact, Lucy the vampire, who thought she was on drugs, was a vampire in Buffy and the Girl Scout. The young blonde girl, doesn't sound right.
She was a young blonde girl from the Addams Family and the Addams Family too. Remember the girl that's selling cookies and she's like, "Are they made from real Girl Scouts?" That's her.
That's her. Oh,
and then she comes back in the second one at summer camp with the red bathing suit and like has the blonde hair.
Right on.
I didn't know that. When I saw that, I didn't know the Buffy one either. But I was like, "Oh my god!" And then I verified it. I went to IMDb. Because I mean, those movies were big when I was little, so it was funny that was because I didn't realize that at all.
Yeah. Well, this episode brings us Gordon back and his god friend. However, this is the last we see of Gordon. Old Gordo.
I thought this was a great send off for Gordon.
Thirsty in more than one way. He gets turned into a vampire because he gets captured by the very slutty male vampire who's just turning girls. And
he just wanted to recreate his family because all these hunters kept killing his family.
Yeah. And then he turns Gordon because he's pissed, rightfully so, right? And Gordon basically goes back to the camper with the guy. He's like, "Give me one last, I just want to go kill Sam. Then you can kill me."
Because he's already feeling the impact of being a vampire, the lights and the bloodlust.
And the guy doesn't do it until Gordon kills him. And Gordon lures them out. Dean and Gordon kind of fight, and Gordon gets a pretty gnarly ending. He gets his head cut off. I dug it. I really dug it.
Yeah. So they actually had in that scene, they were going to have Gordon's head like bobble back and forth after it got taken off. And CW was like, that's too much. We're okay with
that's where we're drawing the
head
line.
coming. That's where the line was the head rolling back and forth. But so to me, Gordon was that love to hate kind of guy, but you also knew that in his head, his motives were altruistic because to him, everything he was doing was vengeance for his sister. And I feel like he sees monsters as black and white. So when he became one, he didn't even try to fight the urge. He instantly just gave in. And I feel like obviously not everybody, you saw the last vampire, she's like, we don't drink people, we drink animals. And he was like, no, they're all monsters. So I'm just going to go kill this random guy here. And there is something that I thought about because, like I said, you'll mention them and I'll either start thinking about them or I'll throw them back on that I had never thought about before. So Gordon's sister turns into a vamp. And when monsters die, they go, do you want me to tell you where they go or should I not spoil this?
You can tell me.
They go to purgatory. So I now wonder, is Gordon reacquainted with his sister now that he is a monster when he died? So
I would hope so. They never answered that. So
no, they don't ever answer that. This is the end of Gordon.
Yeah, we never see Gordon again. Which you love to hate him, kind of. He was like a fun antagonist, and again, his whole motivation is Sam's the Antichrist, essentially. So in his mind, he's right.
Right. You would kill baby Hitler,
points.
right?
Like he has good points. He literally does.
Yeah, I think that's his whole thing. You kill baby Hitler.
Yeah. And so Gordon's gone. And then this next episode, Carrie wanted us to skip because she was like, I don't want to watch Christmas episodes. And it's not Christmas. So this was a very supernatural Christmas. That. And this is when Sam and Dean hunt down the anti-Santa who is crawling down chimneys, kidnapping victims. And Sam cannot accept that this will be the last Christmas he will spend with his brother. So fun fact about this is the alcohol at the end was real and Jared did that. So Dean's reaction was genuine when they're actually drinking. And
the eggnog.
I liked this episode a lot. You had the two gods. They're the old couple who are like that very 1950s nuclear family type, like, well, gosh, welcome. Come on in. Is that a fruitcake? And like those actors. Fudge. Yeah, those actors were great. The way they turned it on and off was great. I thought they nailed it. This episode was stupid.
Nailed it. They even ripped their nails off.
Oh, that was okay. Sam took
I turned
that
away
entirely too well. Yeah, Sam took that really well, and he didn't even act phased. Like they pull Sam's nail off. They show it too. Ow.
Yeah, they do show it.
That was gross.
That's one thing, like in any show, as soon as I see they're going to pull off nails, I look away.
Like CW said you can't bobble a head on the floor, but they let a nail remove
right? You can rip off nails from the nail bed. How funny. So we've talked about how both of us hate caroling. We talked about that at Christmas time.
Yes.
The only appropriate time to start singing Christmas carols is when you break into somebody's house who you think is a monster murdering people, but really they're just a Santa watching porn who's drunk. That's the only time it's okay to start singing Christmas carols. And I love how the Santa then is like, oh, how nice, they're singing. Like he was like
wasted, like this creepy Santa, like he was wasted. It's just, oh my God. It was this episode was fun. It was so much fun. It was ridiculous. It's a Christmas episode, but like with a lot of ridiculousness to it. And you can see Sam and Dean just getting to like slapstick fun at times, but there's those heavy undertones because you have the flashbacks to when Dean stole
his necklace,
Christmas gifts as a kid. And Sam was like, these were stolen. Like, what's a Barbie doll, essentially? And he was like, oh, wow, what? And so you saw the bond because dad didn't show up. And this is really hitting now that like, this is my last Christmas with you. And they give these gifts, like toothpaste or shaving cream, whatever it was. And as fun and slapstick as this was, it also had those there's
skin mags.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
Skin mags and shaving cream. And then Dean got fuel for him and fuel for his baby. So it was oil and a candy bar.
So do they never actually call the car baby? He just calls it his baby. And that's how we know the car is baby.
It more so gets called baby throughout.
That's what I was saying. He refers to it as his baby. So that's how we know it to be baby. Okay.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
That makes sense. That's what I was thinking. So
I don't remember when, but it was a little bit before he officially calls it baby. But yeah, it's always like, oh, baby, oh, did this to you. Oh, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the flashbacks, I feel like you really start to see how much Dean raised Sam.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense why, he was
He's always
able
been the dad
to
him. Yeah.
sacrifice himself. And it was funny because I was looking, again, listening to the Then and Now podcast, and they had Jeffrey Dean Morgan on, and he hasn't watched all of the episodes after what he was in. And he says he goes to cons and people are mad at him. They're like, you were a terrible father to these boys, mad at his character. And to him, he didn't think he was a terrible father. He thought that he did the best under the circumstances of what he was dealt with. But when you go to, later on, they do more, these flashbacks where it's like their dad wasn't there for Christmas and he didn't even have presents for them. And, right there you see Sam like, oh, I was going to give this to, Bobby gave me this necklace and I was going to give it to dad. And, I gave it to you. And the necklace has the necklace symbolism continues. But what's not funny, Jensen chipped his tooth on the necklace at one point. So they have a storyline in the future where they try to write it out because they would forget to put the rubber one on. So during fight scenes, it would swing and it actually chipped his tooth.
That's gnarly. Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. This next episode, they travel to Sturbridge, Massachusetts, which Massachusetts people rejoice.
That's your Broward County.
Sturbridge is the place where there is a pilgrim village that you can go, and that's where everybody in Massachusetts takes a field trip to. It's on like the Connecticut border. It's like the last.
I take a field trip too.
No, you do. Like your Sturbridge Village was the big middle school field trip, and it's
versus Epcot and Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, you guys get cool ones. We go to fucking Sturbridge Village. Anyways, this is Maleficarum. I can never pronounce it, but it means hammer of the wicked in Latin. Commonly, however, incorrectly translated as hammer of the witches. It's the title for a 15th century treatise on witches. Treatise. It was used to argue the nature and reality of witchcraft and was used in the persecution and execution of women accused of witchcraft across Europe in the 15th and 16th centuries. And in this one, they discover the coven of witches that has killed 2 people. Despite the warnings, they confront the head witch who reveals Ruby's past. Surprise. One of the witches is a demon using people.
So when your wives say they're going to book club.
Yes. Book club is actually a witch coven. Yeah, that was fun.
It's true.
And this episode was fun. There wasn't much to it. It was kind of like here's an episode to move the plot along because Ruby's a demon. Mm-hmm. Surprise. And we get a little bit of past into her and a little bit of a battle. And man, Sam and Dean's backs. They are constantly getting thrown through bookshelves and stuff. Goodness.
It's true.
My gosh.
Yeah. So Ruby uses her witchcraft skills, like those come into play throughout the episode she's into. But I love that they were like, doing their witchcraft to get better mortgage rates.
Yeah.
And to help her vegetable garden.
Like middle-aged woman. Like, I got better mortgage rates. And then they're like, but you haven't done anything. And it turns out she was the demon. And yeah, they thought they were killing people. And they're like, no, we were just working on her mortgage rate. And I'm like, that's hilarious. This is such a middle-aged woman thing. Like, I would be doing this. If I had witchcraft, I'm like, give me like lottery tickets. Give me this kind of stuff. Let me win versus killing people.
Right.
And
I'm going to conjure a babysitter for tonight.
No shit. Like, I'm going to conjure not having to work tomorrow so we can go do whatever we want tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just absolutely.
I think that's one of the things I love about this show. There's so many tiny little things that are fucking hilarious that sometimes just get kind of glazed over.
Well, yeah, they glaze over it because the demon and then Ruby.
Right. It's not part of the main storyline.
Right.
But I feel like there's just
like, we were just doing so-and-so's mortgage rates. And you're just like, wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
It was, it was good. Episode 10, Dream a Little Dream of Me. The original premise of this episode was to feature Jeffrey Dean Morgan's return as John Winchester appearing in Dean's dream. However, he was too busy filming The Watchmen at this time, so the writers chose to have Dean encounter himself in the dream instead, in which John is brought up in the conversation. And in this episode, Sam and Dean race to Bobby's side after he lapses into a coma. While in that state, he battles personal demons, and the reason he is a hunter becomes clear when the brothers enter Bobby's dream to save him. And then they have to face their own nightmares. Yeah, so Bobby's wife was haunting him in his dream because she
Karen.
died. Yeah. And that's how he got into hunting. It's kind of sad. Like Bobby, again, Bobby's a real one through and through. Bobby is a real one. And you find out his past is sad. And
well, that's, when we met that couple in the 7 Deadly Sins, and I'm like, I can't stand them, but they had a terribly tragic opening. And I feel like, when Sam's like, how'd you get into hunting? And he almost knew immediately that was a bad question to ask because he got into it so young. So he doesn't necessarily have a hard time being.
Everybody has their reasons.
Like, yeah. And nobody's reason is, oh, well, I just kind of fell into it, or I knew a guy.
I found a demon once and thought this was cool. No, there's usually a tragedy that has to befall them, right? Yeah.
It's always an origin of somebody dying. And I don't remember how much Bobby revealed in that story, so I don't want to say much. So why don't you continue?
Daughter, wife, or something like that?
Yeah, no, his wife was possessed.
That's what it was. Yeah, he didn't know. He wasn't like 100 yet. His wife was possessed, so he killed her because he thought that's how you kill the demon.
Right.
So that's what you learn. And you get the guy who's hopping into dreams. His dad beat him, so he couldn't dream, essentially. And Dean comes face to face with himself, who's like, you're looking for approval, blah, blah, blah. You're coming to hell, blah, blah, blah. So
you're going to turn into this.
Yeah, it was
the black
great.
Eyes.
This was a decent episode. I don't feel one way or the other about it. Again,
isn't this the one where they drink the beer and that's how the guy gets them or something into their dreams?
Yes. So he shows up and he's like, oh yeah, he offered me a beer. And oh, don't tell me. He was like, what? I was thirsty.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would have done the same. And
that's how Matt and I got into some evil guys' dreams. If you ever want to know
how somebody's getting into our dream, it's because Lauren and I showed up and they offered us a beer. And we're like, who am I to turn down a beer? The next thing you know, we're getting tortured by our past.
Right. And that is, one thing but it was a very Dean way to get bamboozled.
It was clever.
So I just want a quick side note for myself. I love that it was Dream a Little Dream of Me, because obviously it's a song, Dream a Little Dream of Me. And I found it hilarious that the week The Boys came out and Stranger Things came out, they both had episodes where they were singing the same song. Mm-hmm. So it's like 3 different things that I absolutely love that they sing this song, and it's all in a creepy-ish way.
I mean, the song's kind of creepy anyways, but
I don't think it was meant to be creepy, though.
No, I don't think it was either. It just comes.
So why don't you take us away to the next one, which is a definite supernatural classic.
Mystery Spot. Dean is killed after looking into a case about the disappearance of a man with Sam. The next morning, Sam is shocked to find Dean is alive and hits with the realization that today is Tuesday, but yesterday was Tuesday too.
It was the heat of the moment.
Yes. So it's not Broward County.
No, because Broward County is Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to take this real quick. So only because I'm from Broward County, which is Fort Lauderdale, they added some palm trees on like the sidewalks, but it is so very clearly not Broward
Florida.
County.
No, this is Vancouver, right. You idiot.
And they did paint some flamingos on the hotel wall. So kudos to you. We do have I've never seen a wild flamingo in my life in Florida. I've seen a ton at, Animal Kingdom has them and zoos. And they're all over all our lottery stuff, which the lottery sends all of us to college in Florida, which is fantastic. And for a huge chunk of my college, my husband's, my kids, all of them. But I've never seen a wild one. It is, and they're all wearing warm clothes. So these are guys.
They have jackets and stuff on.
Yes. So these are guys who are used to traveling around the world in these cold temperatures. And like maybe twice a year, it is cold enough in Fort Lauderdale to wear a flannel and a jacket.
So far. Yeah. They would be sweating their ass off.
Yes. One time I was in Key Largo in January and it was a high of 40. One time. Whoa. Yes, it was. And everybody was like, you're seriously taking your shoe off and putting your foot in the ocean. I'm like, I'm not going to the Keys without putting my toes in the ocean. But it was cold. But it doesn't get that cold in Fort Lauderdale. That's very random, very minor. And I think it's funny, too, that they kept saying Broward County Mystery Spot and they never said Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. And this is the only time that they go to Florida. I believe there's a future episode where Sarasota is mentioned, which is where my beer is from. They mentioned the Clown College. So Florida is mentioned a couple times, but this is the only time they actually go there. And the first time I watched it, I didn't even realize they were in Florida. I just assumed there was another Broward County somewhere else.
That's probably why they never go back to Florida, because it's easier to pretend that you're in Ohio or something
Yeah, probably.
versus Florida, where you have to put up a couple palm trees and try to pretend. Huh.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm getting off my soapbox. Go ahead.
Well, no. So Jared actually hit.
I'm going to do the next one real quick and then I'm done. I'm sorry.
No,
So mystery spots.
Take this one. Take
I don't want them all. Are also called gravity hills, are common throughout the world. Though the episode is based in Broward County, Florida, no actual mystery spot is located here or there. However, there is one called Spook Hill in Florida, in Central Florida, and there was a beer from Red Cypress Brewing called Spook Hill Pale Ale, but they closed in 2019. I'm done now.
All right. Well, Jared hated to film this episode because he had to cry a lot. Because every day was the same. Jensen says that the weirdest way to die, tacos.
He was on set one time and they were talking about the weirdest ways they've been killed.
Well, it's funny because at one point
he said tacos.
He's like, "Don't eat the sausage," and he chokes it down. This episode was so ridiculous because you see, like, poor Dean dies a lot, and he dies in creative ways, like hit by a car. He's like, "Did it at least look cool, like in the movies?" And then
you peed yourself.
Shot. Yeah, he's like, "You peed yourself, man."
He gets hit by an arrow too because he says to the lady at the diner, "You need to work on your archery skills."
He chokes and oh my god, it's great. So when Sam confronts Ed Coleman before revealing he's actually the trickster, Ed says, "My wife's Amelia. I sell ad space. This is the same background as Jimmy Novak." Foreshadowing.
Dun dun dun.
Rise and shine, said in both this and Groundhog's Day, because it's basically a Groundhog's Day episode. Dean was actually going to die and stay dead in this episode if the writer's strike had stopped production at this time. But they managed to actually get to episode 16. And
so this next fun fact I learned from Salt and Burn This Pod. You know the part where they drop the piano on Dean?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his head fly up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I did not. And they pointed that out. And I was listening to their podcast. And I literally, as soon as I parked my car, I went to the actual Netflix and I was like, holy crap. I never realized when that thing falls on him, Dean's head flies up. So I had no idea he was decapitated in that scene. I just thought he was squished.
Again, he dies in crazy ways. And it comes to find out that it's the trickster kind of getting his revenge, right? Because he didn't actually get killed like they thought he did. And he's like, all right, tomorrow you're going to wake up and it's Wednesday. Dean's dead and 6 months go by and Sam is just a soulless monster. And Bobby's like, dude, what are you doing? He kills Bobby, but it turns out it's obviously not Bobby. He's like, you're not Bobby. And that's when we see the trickster reveal himself again. He's like, all right, man, chill. Like, we're cool, man. Chill. And he kind of gives him his life back. He's just like, I'm done fucking with you. It's not even fun anymore. Mm-hmm. And so
it was kind of a lesson too.
It was. It was. He was teaching him a lesson, but at the same time, he's like, bro, this isn't even fun anymore. Like, wolf. And so he wakes Sam back up on Wednesday, 6 months prior. Yeah, no, this episode was great. Hilarious. Absolutely great. But not my favorite episode of the season. That one's coming.
Oh.
That one's coming. So episode 12, Justin Bello, which means is the law that governs the way in which warfare is conducted. FBI agent Henriksen finally captured Sam and Dean yet again. However, they are caught in the middle when a horde of demons descends upon the town jail to eliminate the brothers, because that's when they find out that there's a contract on Dean. This episode shares many similarities with the movie called Assault on Precinct 13. There's two. So you have the 1976 version, and then you have the remake with Ethan Hawke. Great. I was just
going to say, yeah.
Both are great movies. In the film, some cops, some prisoners who are about to be taken to prison, and a secretary are stuck in a small police station while being ambushed by gang members. In this episode, it's the exact same thing. However, it's with demons. In this episode, Henriksen says it's a siege. In the film, the sheriff says it's a siege, a goddamn siege. And
can't say goddamn on CW.
That's true. I would like to point out that the secretary virgin in this episode is in the Netflix film, Hallmark type film with Freddie Prinze Jr. that just came out this past winter.
Oh, she's also in Dexter. She's Dexter's nanny. Yes. And there are some very not virgin scenes with her in that.
Yes. She's a virgin in this. Poor girl. They really virgin shamed her in this episode.
I love when he's like, we're not killing any virgins.
Like, they made it a point. to like virgin shame her. It's like, bro, chill. She's a
Well, she's like, it's a choice.
She's a woman
I just
of
love
faith.
that Henriksen got the stick out of his ass because like he was such a dick. I still wish he had been able to go back and apologize to that one attorney and the one with
agreed.
The
He was such a dick
Exorcist.
to her, and
that's when I really started to hate him.
he ended up coming around. He was possessed by a demon at a point, and they pretty much Ruby shows up and it's like, I could kill everybody demon, including myself, within a mile radius, but we have to kill the virgin. They're like, no way, not happening. Ruby gets pissed and leaves, and they pretty much invite the demons in, and it was they kill them all and play over the loudspeaker a way to possess, exorcise them. And this is where we meet Lilith, actually.
Yes,
Because
when they show their tattoos for the first time.
Yeah, they show their tattoos because they're like, oh, how are you protected? They pull them down at the same time, tattoos on the chest. And Carrie was like, do you think they actually got those tattoos? I'm like, I'm sure they did. No, they didn't. Oh, I was like, I'm sure they probably did. I'm surprised.
I know they both have tattoos. Actually, both of them and Jeffrey Dean Morgan have matching tattoos that they got at Jeffrey Dean Morgan's
they
wedding.
Would have had matching tattoos, I feel like, but okay.
Yeah, they did,
Not
but
that
no,
one.
they don't have but a lot of fans do. I always say like, I can't do that because I'm a girl.
Oh,
They like pull down my shirt.
There's one thing also I feel like boob tats on women are so trashy.
A little bit, yeah.
Like
It works on them.
It's a full on chest piece. Okay. But if you just like have one like on the top of your boot, it feels like it's, who has those? Like trashy white women have those.
I just don't think I could pull it off. I think there's a way to pull off almost anything.
Oh, sure.
I just don't think I could pull that off.
I just think that's like a I don't know. Anyways.
Well, Ian and I have been talking about getting that for a while and getting it at MegaCon, but it's where do I get it? How do I get it?
Right.
I don't want to get it here.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But anyways, yeah, so they think that everybody lives. However, Lilith shows up. I'm looking for two brothers. One's kind of handsome, and then she kills everybody. So Henriksen's dead. The Virgin's dead. Everybody at the prison's dead. Kind of sad. Poor Henriksen finally turned a new leaf, and he's dead.
And how great would have been to have a resource in the FBI? I almost feel like that's why they did it.
Exactly.
Like your guy in the chair could have literally been like, you didn't have to have Bobby pretending to be the FBI. You could literally have somebody from the FBI.
Henriksen was even like, I'm going to say that you both died. You're both died here tonight. So I think that's why
that
they
still
did
worked out.
I mean, it worked out. Yeah. But everybody's dead. Kind of
that would have been fun to see Henriksen in the long run with the FBI. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe it just would have been too easy.
Probably. Nothing's ever that easy, but they killed him off, and we meet Lilith, who's going to play a pretty integral role here soon.
Our Ghost Facers.
Yeah. Episode 13. Ghost Facers. Man, this right here was my favorite episode of the season. Hands down.
So it's funny when in season 1, when you watch the first one with them, I forgot that they don't call themselves Ghost Facers till later.
What are they?
Hellhounds, yeah. So I kept saying Ghost Facers when you were talking about it, and I didn't even realize, like, you probably didn't even know why the fuck I was saying that.
You actually tricked me into thinking that they called themselves the Ghost Facers, so I just thought that's what they were called, and then
you thought you just missed it.
Yeah, I was like, all right, maybe they are. All right, sure.
Well, if you don't know, now you know.
But this is when Sam and Dean inexplicably Where's our heart?
I don't know. That's hilarious. I pictured somebody skipping. Maybe this 10% is hitting me.
All right. So this episode
inexplicably.
Sam and Dean inexplicably encounter the Hellhounds while investigating a case that John failed to crack years earlier and becomes fixtures in their pilot for a reality show called Ghost Facers.
Ghost Facers.
Yes. So first things first, the actor who plays the ghost shows up again as a golem, a scarecrow, and a Moloch later on. And Corbin is the guy Alexis dates in Schitt's Creek. Now
that blew my mind. I didn't realize that.
I didn't either. I never.
It's
really
like the
watched
solo
Schitt's
thing.
Creek, but this episode.
You didn't watch Schitt's Creek? It's really good.
Carrie did.
You should watch it. It's so good.
God, I love this episode. I love paranormal shows. They're so cheesy and awful, and this captured everything cheesy and awful about that old school sci-fi channel, Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International. And then I was sucked in. Like I was like, oh wow, like Sam and Dean aren't even going to show up in this episode. This is awesome. And then they randomly show up as detectives. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, wait, I know you from Texas. And man, what a great episode. It was so lighthearted and fun, despite not being fun because the echoes of themselves, like the
was
people getting
dark.
killed. And then the they were tied up to a table. Poor Corbin got stabbed through the throat and he became an echo. But Corbin saves the day. And yeah, God, I loved this episode. My favorite of the series so far, hands down. I said it.
Oh, yeah. I loved seeing the outside. Like you watched Baby pull in and you heard the loud music. So I liked that outside perspective. And they also, will often say if this wasn't a CW show, Sam and Dean would curse more. Obviously, they're
they were
rough around the
definitely
edges.
cussing. Yes.
Yes. So there's actually a TikTok I think I can share with you now. I think it's safe to say. So anybody who's listening that's been following our TikTok for a while, Matt used to glaze over the Supernatural one. So now when he gets to an episode where it's no longer a spoiler, I send him our old TikToks. So I did one about, because people were saying it was weird seeing Jensen Ackles properly curse on the boys. And so I did a TikTok of Dean not cursing in Supernatural, and it was the fudging stuff and it was the bleeping out. There is another episode where he curses that gets bleeped out that I think might be a spoiler, but
That's okay.
yeah, it was really funny to see them properly cursing. I mean, they're dealing with ghosts. Who the fuck's not going to be like, fuck, a ghost? Or when Josh scares me, when my husband comes around the corner and like jump scares me, I yell, fuck you. Like that's instantly just what I do. And then he laughs his ass off. It's like, who is going to be fighting monsters and demons and only saying son of a bitch?
They're fighting these monsters, demons. Of course they're going to cuss. What are they going to be like? Oh no, I don't swear, but I'm fighting hell themselves. No, absolutely not.
Like, oh, great heavens, as they encounter a ghost.
My goodness.
By golly, that's a demon.
Did you see that heckhound? It's
that HE double hockey
great.
sticks. You wash your mouth out.
Do you kiss your mother with that mouth? No,
no, she's
dead.
died on the
burned
ceiling.
Alive on the ceiling. Good heavens, man. Get it together.
Too soon.
It was a great episode. I loved it. So going into episode 14, Long Distance Call, Sam and Dean investigate some strange occurrences in Milan, Ohio. It's always Ohio. Nothing good happens in Ohio.
Milan.
Where residents have been called by dead loved ones who have been urging them to commit suicide. Dean receives a call of his own, thinking that it's his dad and that he can get saved. He knows who has the contract, all of that stuff. It's not. It's pretty dark because there's a cop who gets a phone call of who killed his 9-year-old daughter. And so that's when Sam or Dean and him meet up and they fight. And it's like, man, that's brutal. Does Dean?
Yeah.
And there's pretty good CGI for the demon who's soul sucking too. Like really decent CGI for the time and for a CW show.
And this is the Busty Asian Beauties thing too, where he tells the guy it's better to just order the prescription or whatever it is.
Yes. And
subscription, not prescription. Subscription.
Well, who knows? Maybe
I have a fever and the only cure is Busty Asian Beauties.
So Sam and Dean go by the names of Detective Campbell and Detective Raimi. What? This is a nod to Sam Raimi and actor Bruce Campbell, who grew up together and made the Evil Dead series. Raimi also frequently cast Campbell in his other movies, such as Multiverse of Madness. Yes.
Get your pizza balls.
Yes. Papa Pizza. Pizza Papa. Pizza Pizza. It's Pizza Pizza. But goddamn.
I guess they're not free in that universe.
No, but this episode, again, it was kind of whatever, but it was dark, like commit suicide, and
had kids. Anytime it's kids, yeah.
The 9-year-old daughter. So I'm not going more into that.
Oh, and then the kid almost, I didn't watch this one recently, but yeah, I forgot the truck with the kid. Forgot about that. Yeah.
Kids, man. I got kids of my own, man.
Yeah. Whenever they bring kids into anything, it adds a different element. I feel like for everybody, but especially parents.
Yeah.
It's like, and as your kid gets older, it's harder to watch Scream now. I'm not going to lie. Once you have a teenager, it's harder to watch Scream.
Be careful. Scream 6 spoilers are already popping up and we're a month away from the movie. So please be careful on social media. Just
my 10-year-old, she's trying to get me to let her watch the first one because the new one's coming out. I'm like,
You're 10. Give it 3 years. Jesus.
Right. I watched it when it came out when I was 13.
I don't remember when I started watching horror movies. Anyways, episode 15. Time is on my side, which is a Rolling Stones song, funny enough. As time runs out for Dean, Sam convinces him to investigate a possible zombie case. When Bobby discovers where Bella is hiding, Dean leaves and he confronts her. And this is when we meet Rufus. So the demon makes...
I love Rufus. Sorry.
I do too. So we get to see more of Rufus?
Yes. Did he talk about Rufus in the Dream a Little Dream for Me?
I don't remember.
Okay, so you're going to hear more about Rufus. Rufus is awesome.
That's fair. All right. The demon makes a cameo in The Boys and also in Arrow, Frank Pike. And that's who it is. And he's also in Letterkenny. The morgue doctor was Daniel Elkins in Dead Man's Blood. So this is the setup essentially for the final episode. We learn more of Bella's backstory. Her parents were killed by her until the end.
But because they were abusive towards her.
Yes, they were abusive. It comes to find out. And Rufus finds out from her ear and sends it all this. Rufus is great. Get him, Johnny Walker Blue. You're good to go.
The only thing better than Rufus is Rufus and Bobby together.
Oh, what do we get? Oh, I'm not going to recover. I'm here for that.
They are the friendship that everyone aspires to be.
Yeah.
I love the two of them together. Any scene that the two of them are in is amazing.
Was it the end of this episode where, Dean confronts Bella being like, where's the Colt? It's gone. Turns out Bella made a deal with a demon. Lilith holds the contract for both Dean and Bella because she made a deal to have her parents killed because they're abusing her. And now her time is up. You leave this episode with the Hellhounds, which takes us into the finale, which is No Rest for the Wicked. Dean's time is up now. He has to pay his due. Lilith resurfaces in New Harmony, Indiana, terrorizing a family to no end. That little girl actress, phenomenal.
Yeah. She's still in therapy to this day.
Is she?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I was like, oh, wow. I thought that was a good fun fact. Like she had to go to therapy for this, but
no, I would think so.
Sam Dean,
she was probably older than she looks.
Probably like 10. Oh, look, Brielle has a future.
Brielle would probably do phenomenal in that role. Honestly,
yes, she would.
She scares the shit out of
her
me.
Hands down. I was thinking, throughout this episode, I was like, wow, that's definitely our daughter Harper. Like, I love you. Don't you want to play like creepy?
And this is why we sleep with one eye open.
Yes. However, Sam, Dean, and Bobby steal Ruby's knife because Ruby doesn't want to help. Or she says, like, I can help, blah, blah, blah. Too late now. So they steal her knife to confront the mother of all demons. This is actually when the writer's strike ended. Dean sarcastically says that he loves their plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. He's paraphrasing a line from Peter Venkman in the Ghostbusters 1984 movie. Fun fact. Lilith is first mentioned in ancient Babylonian texts as a class of winged female demons that attacks pregnant women and infants.
That comes into play later.
Sweet. The legend of Lilith
it's terrifying.
Spreads to an ancient Anatolia, Syria, Israel, Egypt, and Greece in the guise as a wilderness demoness. She appears in Isaiah 34-14 amongst a list of nocturnal creatures who will haunt the destroyed kingdom of Edom. This is her only mention in the Bible, but her legend continued to grow in ancient Judaism. Lilith in the Jewish
I don't know what that is.
Apocrypha.
In the Jewish religion.
The sacred texts. According to the stories, Lilith was Adam's first wife, the first creation of Genesis, who was created alongside Adam. She refused to obey Adam and was cast out of the garden. In some ways, Lilith is the first demon, a human who goes to hell. Up to this point, all of hell's other inhabitants are fallen angels. The White Witch from Narnia. Oh.
In Supernatural, I believe she's the first demon.
Oh, okay. Well, the White Witch from Narnia is supposedly a descendant of Lilith. And No Rest for the Wicked. It's a derivative of a Bible verse. There is no peace. Saith the Lord.
Saith the Lord.
Seth. Saith.
I went to more Sunday school.
My kids
clearly.
went to Sunday school this past weekend.
The Lord.
For the first time ever. And because they were staying with our friend. And that's all they've talked about, like God and Jesus and stuff. So not my thing, but maybe.
Well, I mean, Josh is Jewish and I'm Christian. So we kind of just, here's a menorah and here's a Christmas tree and we're done.
Well, fun fact, this is also an album from the Ozzy Osbourne. And it was released, the Ozzy Osbourne. I said it like that, but Black Sabbath in 1998. So There was a scene where I was like, yeah, Sam, kill her. But Lilith had left at that point, took over Ruby. And I honestly didn't think they were going to kill Dean. Dean got thrashed pretty good and they killed him. And it was pretty dark at the end of the episode when Dean's strung up by giant meat hooks in hell. I was like, oh my God, they did it.
So they weren't going to do it. They were going to try to figure a way to get him out of it. But because of the writer's strike, they just went ahead and killed him. And honestly, I personally think it was the best thing that could have ever happened to the show. And for one, because this ending was great. And for two, what takes place in season 4 and how they take that along
out of it. Yeah. I was
how they get out of it. Because obviously the show, Dean's not in hell for the next 12 seasons. Spoilers.
Something, wouldn't it? But I legitimately.
This is now just the Sam Winchester show. All the Dean
Sam's
things
going
are
around
just
and Dean's
flashbacks.
talking to him somehow. Okay.
Oh, there you go. It's like Dexter. He just has his dad talking to him. That's actually what it is. Dean's dead forever.
Dark Passenger is literally Dean. Sorry.
Yes, I love it. That's it. Wow, you are psychic.
I didn't expect them to do it, but they did it. And it was dark at the end. I was like, holy shit.
Just the way he gets ripped to shreds.
Wow. He got like the Hellhounds came in. Ruby was possessed by Lilith. So Ruby's dead. Like Katie Cassidy's dead. Ruby's not really dead, but Katie Cassidy's dead, which because I know in season 4, Padalecki's wife becomes Ruby.
Guinevere.
Yeah. She becomes Ruby. So that's kind of cool. But
I didn't know you knew that, but yeah.
I did know that. I did know that because of my wife. And yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that. Good episode. Great way to end the season. Short season, of course, but a great way to end on that cliffhanger because I was like, oh yeah, they're going to kill her and he's going to be okay. No, they thrash Dean to death in a brutal way. And then he's in hell. And I was like, what? Oh, shocked.
I think one of the best things about this show, it's kind of like the first time you watch Frozen. It didn't fit the mold that you expected it to fit.
It subverted my expectations. I hate that term, but it did.
Only if someone had been telling you for years that it's not what you think it is.
Look, I'm telling you, that's what I've been telling you about Idaho. Maybe you'll listen.
Oh no, I believe you've sent me enough beer that I believe.
Yeah, just, wow. It was crazy. Legit didn't expect that ending. So I'm ending on like a wow. All right. I can't wait to start season 4. I haven't watched season 4 yet. I haven't even started.
Oh my God.
Episode.
Your next episode is Lazarus Rising.
Yeah. Well, wow, man. I
might go watch it right now.
I'm hoping to go out and watch it right now. Hopefully. So
when we did our first Supernatural episode almost 2 years ago with Gnome from Dayquil Dads, and you just quizzed us and kind of ignored us talking. One of the things we talked about is the marketing of this show and how it was just terrible. You look at all of the posters, even for season 15, which obviously by season 15, it was very evident they had done many a silly episode, and it was still just looked like the cover of a romance novel.
Yeah, it really, the cover, whoever the photographer was needed to be fired.
And they make fun of all of that in the show. And you're going to see that real soon where they literally make fun of all of it.
Yeah.
And yet they still kept doing it. So I don't know if like the marketing for CW just wasn't on the same page with the right. I don't know.
Probably that. They're self-aware. The best shows are self-aware, right?
Oh, this show is more self-aware than any other show ever.
It's dope. Yeah. I really enjoy it. I can't wait to start season 4. So
I can't wait for you to start season 4.
Let's wrap up this episode. That was season 3 of
When
Supernatural.
you get to changing channels, you need to text me before you start it.
Yeah, I will let you know. But I by the way, just blown away that's how season 3 ended. I didn't expect it. Very surprised.
Dean didn't either.
Yeah, man, the poor dude. He's in hell, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna go start season 4. So we'll be back next week with some more bonus episodes. Catch our next episode that comes out in a couple of days, where we are recapping The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 and a little bit of the Book of Boba Fett, aka season 2.5 of The Mandalorian. Follow us, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Help the podcast grow. And if you love the Supernatural content, let us know. Maybe we'll do some more fun things with it. Be on the lookout for us at different Comic-Cons, such as MegaCon Orlando, coming up here at the end of March. I will be in Massachusetts at the end of March. We're going all over.
I will be at MegaCon.
And, you know, maybe we'll find a way to be in the same area at some point this year. And who knows, maybe we'll do some supernatural kind of shit stuff. Hopefully.
There is a museum we're talking about going to in Maine that's got some Ian was calling it a supernatural fan museum.
Maybe I'll get to season 15 and save it for that trip. We'll see. But
you're going to that's not unreasonable.
True. I don't know, but hey, let us know what your favorite episode was of season 3. And until next week or in a couple days, we'll see you soon. Cheers, everybody.
Ghost Facers.
Ghost Facers. We face a ghost when the others will not. We're Ghost Facers. Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot. Ghost Facers. We face a nightmare. We face a dread. Ghost Facers. We face the faceless. We face the dead.
Trip and fall into the supernatural. Where who you're gonna call? We face them all. Ghost Facers. We face the faceless. We face the dead. Ghost Facers.